it was your fault. But clearly this is my fault. We're here for Jordan and Devin, obviously. But we're only here because of their parents. I'd like to thank Pat and Trudy for all the free libations and meal. And Art and Mary Lou. I'd also like to thank Father Dan, who spoke a very nice celebration. Sacrament. It's no mistake that we're here, but it is a bit of a mistake that Jordan's here. Get a little scotch and Dutch and he'll tell you the story. Watch out, boy. Devin is looking beautiful as always. Jordan looks all right. He would like to note that he went from a 40 to a irresistible 36, just for the events. Big hand, big round of applause for the boy. He's working, even when he's not working, he's working. I'd also like to thank David Chambers, who could be standing up here giving the best man speech, but due to complete dereliction of duty as a friend, did not think to hook up his somewhat handsome boyfriend from long ago with his future wife's very good-looking friend. Just kind of sat on that one for about a decade and let nature take its course. What does a guy have to do to get a recommendation? As nature would have it, Jordan got all the height, a little bit more talent, pretty good looks, but he's paid a price in wildly excessive body hair. Growing up, he was quite an athlete, probably due to my friends and I pounding on him mercilessly on all avenues of athletics: football, baseball, basketball, billiards. At least until he got bigger than we were, and then we stopped playing sports with him altogether. It's kind of surprising that he's as nice as he is, given how mean we were to him. As a big brother, many of you feel the onus of responsibility that I have borne throughout my formative years. You want to mold a little guy into a little stud. You want him to do well, and as a Spellmeyer man, he had a lot of pressure. Throngs of single women chasing him all about town. So it was my job to teach him how to deal with that. Certain situations get a little tight, get a little uncomfortable. Got to teach him how to move through a room. Another big brother duty that many would also be familiar with is you got to give him your fake ID. Well, it's not fake for me, but for him, posing as Arthur Spellmeyer must have been quite a task. But I guess it's better than pretending you're George Steinmeier. Growing up must have been tough. Bit of a Tom Jones existence. Women throwing room keys, undergarments, on stage and at your general direction. You're always kicking stuff off your ankles. Which makes it nicer because he had the mental wherewithal to just divert all of that and focus on athletics and academics. Not necessarily in that order. He always thought women were a bit too much trouble. Understandable. I remember when he said they were first starting to date. Tell me about the lucky lady. He said, well, this little filly, her name is Devin. My first thought was, Jordan and Devin, you guys sound like a pair of strippers. Luckily, well, hopefully maybe you'll have a daughter in the future, but hopefully you avoid naming her Destinies with 2 E's. That's a, growing up is tough, especially these days, and you don't want to be Destiny. After choosing academics over athletics, he was disappointed, as you may know, to receive word that he did not, in fact, win the Fulbright scholarship to Indiana University. But ever the optimist, he had a backup plan. The Spellmeyer Foundation for High School Mediocrity stepped in, cut a check to the tune of a lot to Indiana University, where he met several of his good buddies. And I didn't know all of Jordan's friends growing up. I know a few of them, but didn't know them per se. But it's obvious that a lot of good guys, and good goes around, as everybody knows, and good guys attract good guys, and he has got a fantastic group of friends. Really mean that. Boys. We did a little bit of, we had a bachelor party in Memphis a few weeks ago. A really nice time had by all. To give you guys an idea of how caring Jordan is, which matches up perfectly with Devin's nurturing. Very maternal, very nice. Not every little brother would take care of their big brother if they got roofied 2 nights in a row. What are the odds? You're wearing your favorite shirt out 1 minute, the next minute you're wearing a Memphis Grizzlies t-shirt. People kept spilling on me. Devin and Jordan, as many have seen, you don't see it everywhere, because you go to a few weddings and you're like, I don't know. But this one, you pretty much just know. The sheer amount of photography they've taken amongst themselves would imply some amount of caring. And we would like a lot of these images to persist into the future. I asked Devin for a couple, little tidbits about Jordan when I was trying to prepare this huge disappointment after the song that was choreographed. I got a few. When Devin was on vacation, they're still in the heavy courtship phase. She took a trip with Arthur and Mary Lou down to Florida. Jordan was there as well. Didn't make her go by herself. Gentlemen. Somewhere along the line, they got the line, Jordan's perfect. Truth. Truth. Perfect for you. You should get used to, however, instead of Jordan's perfect, Jordan's hungry. He doesn't demand much, but he demands a little food every now and then. He rarely gets worked up. I think I've seen him angry probably never, which is also impressive given the amount of hatred and temper tantrums I threw getting beaten in sports right before I decided to hang it up. Devin said he's the most charitable person that she's ever run into. He gives speeches to children that are disadvantaged. Those speeches are impromptu and they're on the side of Capitol Avenue. If you want to see one later, you might get lucky. He's very, very kind-hearted. As some of you parents may know, high school can be a bit of a trying time for parental-child relations. Jordan's no exception. Everyone's feeling their way out as a human being. At his worst, which he was probably better than most, Mary Lou likes to tell a story that they've been butting heads a little bit. And at one point, Jordan was holed up in his room upstairs above the garage, going over some documents, most likely. And he found a little ladybug and came downstairs and released it back to the wild. And I like to think of that as Devin's your new little ladybug. While you're not going to release her into the wild, I think your kind-hearted nature shows in that little story, even when you were a little jerk. You were still able to rescue a poor, defenseless, disgusting insect. But, sorry. It sounded much nicer when I spoke it out in the mirror earlier. The premise of the story was Devin's his little ladybug, and they are perfect together, just like Jordan's perfect. I think Devin, from an uninterested third party's point of view, is perfect as well. And stops right there. Starts right here. So, we'll toast, a little health and happiness. Get a little bit of barking later, we're going to do a little dancing, a little barking, a little grooving. Here we go. Cheers.